Hello, you're here with T.
And Matthew.
And Ty.
And we are the Bing Zang Zoom podcast. So, it's BZZ16, Quarantine 3. By the time we get done with the quarantine, it might be like Quarantine 48. But, a couple of things to talk about today. A few things. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wants to fight in exhibition fights. I saw a video of him hitting the mitts, and it looked like he could definitely break someone's jaw with ease at age 53. Did y'all see this video?
Yes.
Yes. Sadly, I didn't see the video because now I can't sleep. Mike Tyson!
It's like there was a rugby player that said that he would fight him. I forget his name right now, but he's in shape, but you never know. Either way, I'm going to pay to see whatever fight Mike is in because I didn't really get a chance to really appreciate him while he was coming up. So now, if he fights, that'll be like a Hulk Hogan match or something like that. Not that I want to see Hulk Hogan wrestle again, but you know, Mike Tyson, crazy. I mean, he saw the money that Floyd made, right? Just off an exhibition fight. You know, it's not a whole 12 rounds or anything like that. Just Floyd went and had an exhibition fight with a Japanese kickboxer by the name of Tenshin Nasukawa, and he beat him in like 2 minutes. And it was a boxing match though, so no kicking was allowed. But Floyd just walked him down, beat him up, and got $9 million for it. So Mike is like, yeah, I want a piece of that. Why not?
I think about what that pay-per-view cost would be for that, man. Like, because I know the Floyd and Conor McGregor fight, man, they both, even the loser got paid, which was Conor McGregor, but he got paid like millions for that fight for just the pay-per-view. And Floyd Mayweather like knocked him out in the 6th round, I think it was. But like just the money from just the money from pay-per-view alone, like even if Mike were to lose, he's still walking out with like a couple $1 million. Like
Mike might go in there and be like knock out, like if he has a contract for 3 fights, easy peasy, knock out the first 2 guys, and then the last guy be like, hey, look, man, if you give me another $4 million, I'll take the 4. I'm trying to go out, man. I'm just trying to go out.
Just don't hit me in the nose. Just don't hit me in the nose.
Right.
Like gap in my teeth. I can't risk that getting bigger.
You headbutt me, it's over. I'm taking everything out. Your ears, your eyebrows. I'll bite your eye out your head.
I'm just waiting for him to start biting people's lips because then it gets all sensual.
I mean, T, I sent you that picture, the homeboy licking the other dude's neck, remember, during that one fight? He was like, but that was literally what he did, though. That was like on live TV. He licked this guy's neck. Like that was, it was like the guy looked like Butterbean. I don't know fighters' names or whatever, but it was like Butterbean versus Wilder, I think it was.
But that's a way to take your opponent out of the right mind state. I mean,
it is, but he didn't just like lick his neck. He licked the blood off his neck. That dude went full vampire Twilight. This was the Butterbean, this like Twilight and Butterbean coming together and just like licking bodily fluids off of someone's neck. It was
and that's how you get hepatitis.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotta watch out for that. But obviously he was like, listen, I'm willing to take on all challenges, hepatitis, whatever else is in your blood.
He's trying to do what Magic Johnson did and fight the disease for years and like come out on top, bro. Because there's no way Magic Johnson still has HIV.
Yeah, right.
There's no way.
Johnson definitely a survivor. Would y'all pay to see Mike Tyson fight nowadays?
Yeah, most definitely.
Would I pay to see it? Probably not. Would I illegally stream it? Most likely.
This is not a confirmation that he is going to illegally steal videos.
Right.
I'm very against piracy. All these people that it's like, oh yeah, just download the movie or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but people worked hard on that, except for sporting events, because it's like, why the hell would I pay $50 for something that could end like that?
A Mike Tyson fight will be like 2 minutes long.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'll just watch the highlights when they upload them on YouTube.
Exactly. I can understand that.
Fair enough. All right, so moving on, we got AMC Theaters no longer wants to show. AMC Theaters is no longer showing Universal movies. So basically,
that's movies right now.
Factual. So the reason why is due to the NBC Universal CEO Jeff Shells. It's because
everybody knows him and loves him.
Bypass, right? To bypass theatrical release for Trolls World Tour. So basically, this is due to Trolls World Tour. So just blame it on Trolls. And
that's what I do for everything in my life.
Theatrical release,
especially when you have kids.
Oh yeah.
It's always those damn trolls.
Who ate my fruit snacks? The trolls got it again.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard "Can't Stop the Feeling" by Justin Timberlake.
Okay, but admittedly, that's a bop though.
No, it's a good song.
You can't not dance to that.
I'll be sitting there like cooking, and then just out of nowhere, just "Can't Stop the Feeling." Shut up, Ty.
Your legs just start moving involuntarily, like shoulder shake. Some stuff is involuntary, man. If I challenge somebody to like go to a dubstep concert or something like that, or techno, like challenge somebody that doesn't listen to techno or something like that, right? Or EDM music, and just like they're like, nah, I don't listen to that, man. Come on, man. And then when you put them with the right bass, like. They'd be like, what's that? Why is my body moving like this? I've never moved like this before. I just normally lean back.
I can't.
I'll tell you. We need to get back to Universal in a second, but I'll tell you, I was. We used to have in the town I lived in Washington. They used to have outdoor concerts every summer. They'll do things like that. And I was at this concert, and if it's a band I know, I'll rock around and, do stuff. But if it's a band I don't know, I'm like concentrating, like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. Oh, that's a cool chord progression or whatever. And so I get kind of stoic because I'm paying attention. And there's these, drunk people who kept just like knocking into me to try to get me to dance and, like coming up and like pulling on my arms and stuff. And I got in a fight that day, I tell you.
Oh, leave me alone. No, I don't want any ecstasy.
Pretty much.
Goodness.
Pretty much the way that day went.
Yeah.
But Universal and AMC.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting about this is AMC Theaters are saying that there's a possibility already that they're not going to survive past this event. And AMC Theaters is the biggest theater chain in the U.S. Maybe the world, I don't know about that, but it's the biggest theater chain in the U.S. And they charge $89.99 for popcorn, and they don't have any money, left over to sustain them during this time. I don't know. It's interesting. I think the whole, we're not going to show Universal movies anymore because they chose to release this movie outside of theaters. I think that's just them being really desperate and lashing out at anybody they can to keep their names in the news.
Interesting.
Something that I heard too, I heard a response from AMC and whatever other partner was in it, but I guess like AMC's partners with Universal when it comes to these things. And though I'm not like for what AMC did, I can kind of understand when they came out with the statement. They pretty much just said like, hey, you didn't even tell us you were doing this, you know? So they're kind of like not necessarily breaking an agreement, you know, but they didn't come to AMC first and let them know, hey, this is what we're going to do with the movie. They just said, hey, we're going straight to video on demand with it. Because it was scheduled for a theatrical release before all this craziness happened, and they didn't tell them. Granted, I'm not for AMC, and I'm sure AMC is going to be quick to turn that around when all this is over with. But for that on AMC's end, yeah, it's a little bit more of a greedy move. But I can kind of understand. I wouldn't have lashed out the way that they did and said you're just done forever. But I can understand why they would be upset. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you have to think about, too, it's like if they're already struggling this much that they can't take a couple months off without, you know, almost going bankrupt, imagine how further their market share is going to go down if they're cutting out roughly 1/3 of the movies being released.
Yeah, because think about it, Universal isn't the only one, you know, wanting to do this. Warner Brothers is doing it with Scoob. Right. You know, you got a lot of companies wanting to branch out into video on demand, and then seeing how well Trolls World Tour did. Trolls World Tour did just as well as the original Trolls movie in theaters when that came out. If they can make money doing it this way, I doubt they want to get rid of the theater experience, because there's nothing better than the theater experience when you're going to see a movie. But you're going to start seeing, I can see more of a trend going into this video on demand, not just during this time, you know, throughout this virus that we got, but even past it. Like, I think we're going to see a lot more of this happening, especially when they're making, you know, oh, this is going to be exclusively shown through Amazon Prime, or, you know, something along those lines. You know, we're going to probably start seeing a lot more of that, especially if Scoob does well, which I think Scoob will do well on its opening, I guess, video on demand, you know, day.
Well, what you have to think about, too, is that, I mean, is there no better way to see a movie than in the theater? That's what I think. That's what you guys think. But is that what everyone thinks?
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's always Netflix and Thrill.
Yeah, right. You know, I mean, people, you know, streaming at home with their TVs without having to hear other people's popcorn rustle around, without having to, you know, step on the squeaky floor.
Or people that can't go to the movie theaters, you know? Like, there's people that are, like, disabled that legit want to see these movies that can't actually go to the movie theaters.
Right. You know, and so theaters very well might start going, you know, the way of the drive-in and start disappearing. I was watching, what's that guy's name? Matt Pat Film Theory. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about, he's like, you know, event movies, you know, like Avengers Endgame, you know, things like that are like, oh, well, everybody wants to go experience this together. Might start moving into more like a stadium, like we see sports in. You know, that might be like the only thing that happens, is it'd be like, oh yeah, regular movies, straight to video on demand. Event movies, you have to go to this place where there's 45,000 people just to justify it.
Charging $100 a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
Those studios that you would even see them taking up, you'd probably see them in sporting arenas, because of the fact that for instance, like the Dallas Cowboys arena, that hosts more than just the Dallas Cowboys football. That hosts countless, like, musical events. That hosts like countless, like, high school and college events, you know. So the Star makes so much money on not just football, but just everything else that they air there. And that's the same way with a lot of other stadiums. So, you know, you're going to start seeing that if it does get to that point, Matt. You would start seeing that probably in more sporting arenas than just building their own, because it would probably cost them more in the end to do it.
Oh, definitely. Definitely just put like a big screen up in the middle of the football field or the baseball field. Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds interesting, though. I would like to go to that.
That would be cool. It'd be expensive, but it'd be cool. You bought that $89 popcorn.
Lifetime. Right, yeah.
That's going to be a $200 popcorn now.
Ah, dang. Yeah. Well, keeping it in the entertainment world, a couple of things have happened. A couple of people have passed away. A few people have passed away, but in the entertainment world, a couple of notable names: Ben Stiller and Little Richard. So,
No, Jerry Stiller.
Not Ben Stiller.
I'm sorry, Jerry Stiller. Yeah, my bad. I don't want to provide false information.
I made the same thing. Like,
Ben Stiller.
Facebook like tricked me and showed me a picture of Ben Stiller, and all I saw Jerry Stiller, but all I saw was Stiller, and then the picture of Ben Stiller. And I was like, oh, no fucking way! Ben like I was about to fucking start a riot.
But Jerry Stiller. At first I just saw the writing, so I didn't know who it was. I was just like, Stiller, wait, Stiller. I know that name. And so I clicked on it and I was like, please don't be the Stiller I think it is, period. But I didn't even put two and two together. I didn't even know Jerry Stiller was Ben Stiller's dad.
Oh, it's just Jerry Stiller. Don't worry about it.
Like, Stiller.
I'm playing.
Right. But like, man.
King of Queens, who cares?
Right.
No, he was a very good actor and had a wonderful career. But, he was an older guy and it was his time, so.
92. He's like, of course I wasn't around to watch anything before a certain time frame, but as far as I know, he popped later on in life. Like he became popular later on. More so than he had before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are some notable things that he was in? You said everybody, which one? The King of Queens?
King of Queens, yeah, he was the father-in-law.
Yeah. Was he in Seinfeld?
I thought it was, I think it was Seinfeld.
Not sure.
Yeah. And then I know there's some Adam Sandler movies he did too.
Yeah.
I know he was in Little Nicky, I believe. And there was a few.
He was.
There was a few other ones. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But
we're very well researched on this show.
We sourced everything beforehand.
Ben Stiller, Jerry Stiller. Focus.
They're all dead. Just all the Steelers are gone.
And then Little Richard, man. Yeah. Little Richard. Rock and roll legend. The man that basically said that he started rock and roll. He calls himself the originator. He passed away at age 87. Some of his songs are, Good Golly Miss Molly and,
Fruity.
Yep.
Long Tall Sally.
Yeah. Yeah. What's crazy is that Little Richard, right? Another person that, like, not for nothing, to me, he's been old forever, right? But he's 87, and like, this guy became popular.
Like he's 32.
Right. Number one. Number two, he became popular in the 50s. So it's like, my dad was just being born when this dude was popular.
Yeah.
And like, imagine all of the things going on during the time that he became popular. So, real quick, I just want to say this for out of respect for Little Richard. A wop, baba loo bop, a wop, bam boom.
Bam boom. Little Richard, I don't know if he was the first rock musician. Again, I kind of credit that. We talked about it in an earlier episode to Robert Johnson. But, he was definitely the first to do that style of rock and roll. And, Elvis Presley, definitely copied Little Richard quite a bit. But for me, like, and as much as I actually like listening to Little Richard, which I do, I actually like Little Richard. My biggest memory, though, was not actually of him. I went to see Paul McCartney live, actually at a baseball field that you were talking about, that they do that in sports arenas. It was the Safeco Field in Seattle. And this was not long after he did a song with the surviving members of Nirvana. So the second set of his concert, he invited Dave Grohl, Pat Smear, and Chris Novoselic out, and they became his backup band for the entire second set of his concert. So it was Paul McCartney fronting Nirvana, kind of.
Yeah.
and they did Long Tall Sally, and he had said something like, "This is the first time I've done that song in 50 years," or something along that line. That I just remember that moment very vividly of them coming out and all the songs that they did, but particularly Long Tall Sally is the one that sticks out in my head the most.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Were they able to get your were they able to get your pants off? Were they able to get your pants off with one strum?
I don't know, but it has everything that Uncle John needed. Oh, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man. So Matthew, you were telling us that you had a leak.
Oh, yes, I cleaned it up though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, yeah. There's been a leak for the plot of The Last of Us 2. Now, we had talked about The Last of Us in a previous episode when we were talking about that the TV show was coming up. However, the game Last of Us Part 2, that's actually the title, is Part 2, has been in development for a little while now, and a disgruntled ex-employee of the studio released I'm not sure if it was the entire script or just the synopsis or what it was, but it was a giant chunk of the story. And a lot of people are upset politically because there seems to be some, gender politics in it and some things doing with Anita Sarkeesian and stuff like that. But we're going to try to avoid all of that right now because we don't, we don't want to get into that. The thing that is most interesting, and spoilers for The Last of Us 2 if you guys want to go in completely blind, but it seems like there's a bit of contradicting stories, but it seems like from what I've heard that within the first few minutes of the game, Joel and Ellie were the main characters of the previous Last of Us game. Mm-hmm. That a character kills Joel, and the rest of the game is this character trying to hunt down and kill Ellie, and you have to play as this character. Yet that's not been in any of the trailers or anything. So a lot of people are like, well, why am I going to buy the game when you're doing this bait and switch on me and killing off the characters that I like and then forcing me to play as the character that killed off the characters that I like?
Yeah. Talk about the Friday the 13th video game.
Yeah.
Maybe there's heavy influence from that or something. That's weird. The main character. Hey, we're going to see this Batman movie, but it's mainly about the Joker.
I mean, who would go see that movie though? It would be one thing.
That's true.
It was Batman's neighbor the whole time. That's the movie we wouldn't go see.
Right.
Bobby down the street.
Excuse me, Mr. Wayne.
Why is he leaving in the middle of the night again? That guy doesn't sleep.
But I know with the
Last of
Us 2, I know, so a good thing is I know a day ago, I believe, Sony did come out. We did find out that it wasn't somebody from Naughty Dog that leaked.
Okay.
It was an actual hacker that got in and was able to, I guess, I don't know how they got into it. I don't know the details on it, but they were able to get in and actually get the main plot for it and leak it out. And everything that you said about the plot is very true. A lot of people are really upset, and a lot of people are actually not, because they took the game down from being able to pre-order for a little while until they could get an actual release date because of the whole COVID-19 situation. They weren't sure when they were going to release it because it was supposed to release earlier this month. But they refunded everybody, so now a lot of people, they're seeing a drop in pre-order rate now that they've made it available, because they do have a release date now, which is next month. So you can pre-order it again, but now because the plot's been leaked, a lot of people are upset about it, and they're not getting as many pre-orders that they did have when it was first available to pre-order. So, and the good thing about it is the game is gold now, which means the game is, getting printed on discs and everything like that. The game's done. So, and we should be getting it, like I said, as long as nothing happens as far as COVID-19 goes, we should be having it by, I think it's early to mid-June or whatever the date was. But I think a lot of people who did enjoy the first one, I doubt they're going to do the bait and switch with it. Naughty Dog's is probably like one of the best developers out there as far as plot line goes. Uncharted is a fantastic series, and the first Last of Us was just way too good for them to. I highly doubt they would pull a bait and switch with it. I know they released a launch trailer a couple days ago that really did go into depth on Ellie. So it looks like you're definitely going to be playing Ellie for the majority of it and everything. But she is definitely on a vengeance for something. But I don't think it's going to be like Joel's dead or anything. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Well, in one of the older trailers, I mean, which, you could say, oh, well, that was Joel in her head or whatever, but he comes in when she's playing the guitar, Yeah. I know I'll kill my enemies when they come. And he's like, baby girl, are you okay? And there's all those dead bodies and stuff around her. So seemingly she was already out for vengeance while he was still alive.
My thing is, I think it has a lot to do, while he was still alive, I definitely agree with that, but my thing is, like, I think if spoilers for Last of Us, the first one, anybody here played the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how it ended, right? Mm-hmm. So, spoilers real quick for anybody who's watching The Last of Us 1, if you haven't played it by now. But Joel goes in and saves Ellie, after delivering her, because they're about to, like, essentially carve out her brain to find the cure to this thing. And, of course, Joel at this point sees her as a daughter figure and doesn't want any of that to happen. So he kills, like, the head Firefly person who was, like, pretty much, like, considered family to Ellie, and then lied about it to Ellie at the end of the game. So I think this is going to have more to do, in my opinion, more to do with the Fireflies, coming back and, maybe being a little bit more corrupt than they were, or just, I think it's going to have more to do with that aspect of it than like Joel dying or something,
Well, you would think, right? Like that's what seems realistic to me as well, and that's where I assume that they were going. But and again, this may just be a bunch of hoopla, but based on the leaks, it really does seem like they're doing that bait and switch, which can work. I mean, back in the 60s, that's what the storyline to Psycho was, is you thought it was going to be this heist movie.
Yeah.
And then, was it Janet Leigh was killed in like 30 minutes into the movie, and then suddenly you're following, this other character, in Norman Bates. So it can work, but the problem is that people are already emotionally invested in these characters from 40 hours of the first one, or however long it was. Yeah.
It seems that way, and the only reason I don't think it is because it doesn't really work that well when it comes to video game narratives. Yeah. We saw it with Halo 5. I don't know if anybody's played Halo 5, but Halo 5 was
not yet, still on the shelf. I haven't played it yet.
Still on the shelf.
I have it. I just haven't played it yet.
But I'm not going to spoil any of the storyline, but the trailer showed you got this new Spartan Locke in the game, and everybody knows Master Chief's the man, That's why we play Halo, is for Master Chief and nobody else. Maybe you see Cortana's boobs as well, but mainly for Master Chief. Come on, you play Halo 1, you know they're there. But they're censored up by digital things, but they're there.
Yeah. And our female audience just went like this.
I know, right? But we play it with Master Chief, he's a badass in a mech suit, and then when we got introduced to Spartan Locke, it seemed like a little bit of a bait and switch there, that they were kind of trying to pull more Spartan Locke than Master Chief, and you're kind of going for more of his narrative. That you still get Master Chief's narrative in it, but you're getting more of Spartan Locke's than you would Master Chief, and that pissed off a lot of fans of the series, including myself. So, and then the other games too that pull this bait and switch, it just normally doesn't work out for big franchise titles like Last of Us or Halo or, so on and so forth.
Well, thanks for letting me know that the game stay on the shelf.
No, it's good. The game is fun. The game is fun, and I definitely think you should play it. It's a really good game. When I played it at the time, when I first played it, I was a little bit frustrated.
Well, I mean, I have to beat some other stuff. Like, my thing is, I have a few other games that I need to get to, but I'm just trying to beat one.
Yeah, I got
take
you.
It off, make space, beat the next, and go from there. But I think I'm gonna be leaving the purchasing of games alone just for a little bit because I'm building up a little stack of unplayed games.
I mean,
speaking of games, I'm definitely getting that Avengers one though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Square Enix Avengers game looks good.
Indeed.
It's happened in games before, like Prototype, and the second one, the main guy from the first one is the antagonist, and then like for Infamous, they changed the main character a couple times. So it could work if you know that that's what you're getting into from the beginning. But when they do this, like, in the middle of the game, that they just switch it up, and with nothing in the trailers.
Like, you're 10 minutes into it, and you find out Joel and Ellie both got shot in the face. Like,
right, exactly.
I did not read the leak, so if that's part of their leak, I don't know. I didn't want to be spoiled by the game leak, so
I mean, pretty much. That was pretty much what it was.
Well, speaking of murder, right? Real quick, we're gonna do the wrestling recap. Money in the Bank pay-per-view was this past weekend, right? And basically, for those of you who don't know, the Money in the Bank premise is where you climb ladders in order to attain a briefcase, and that will provide you with a championship opportunity at any time that you want to cash in the briefcase. Now, this time they did it, instead of using just ladders, they used WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, where they had you go from the first floor all the way up to the roof, and then the ring was on the roof. Then there were ladders, and the briefcase was hung. Now, of course, the participants all go to the roof. They're battling it out, and a guy by the name of King Corbin throws Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black off a roof. So, no, he did not go on to win. Spoiler, coming up for those of you who are wrestling fans and have not seen Money in the Bank 2020, the winner was unexpected. It was Otis. But hopefully there's something there. Hopefully they have a plan. I don't know. But anyways, my question is Rey Mysterio dead? Right? Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black, are they dead? Now, I'm not sure the time frame after, but some short while after that happened, Aleister Black, on his, one of his social media platforms, posted a picture of a ghost, like, like a sheet with the eyes cut out and smoky background. I was like,
he comes back in a sheet and haunts him.
Yeah, that, I don't know if that's a good gimmick.
I mean, COVID-19 is not really helping anybody with gimmicks right now.
Yeah, for real. Goodness. But yeah, so I think, story-wise, Baron Corbin should be jailed for throwing two competitors off the roof.
Especially Rey Mysterio, that's my dude.
Come on, man. How you gonna throw Rey off the building, man? Come on now.
Ray, that's my boy.
Yeah, a couple of other good matches. Oh yeah, another spoiler for the Money in the Bank. On the women's Money in the Bank side, Asuka took the briefcase. And Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship, and for SmackDown Universal Championship, Braun Strowman defeated Bray Wyatt. So that is your wrestling recap. Now, tell us about the Parks and Rec thing there, Matthew.
The thing. Yeah, so Parks and Recreations was a TV show. It was sort of a spiritual spin-off of The Office in a way, where it's about a documentary of people working, and it was very and it was very, very popular. And recently with the quarantine, they did a reunion special, which was actually an episode of the show. It was a narrative thing. It wasn't just like all of them being like, "Hi, I'm so and so and I play so and so." But it was a narrative story, and it was all filmed individually through their webcams. And they put it out. It's available on YouTube and Hulu and a bunch of different websites. and it was an attempt to raise money for a charity. I honestly can't remember which one, so sorry about that. But it's interesting that all of these, now very popular people, Chris Pratt, Ant-Man, I forget his name at the moment, Paul Rudd, that all these people came back and filmed, a few seconds of themselves, and that the story narrative makes sense. So if you like Parks and Recreations, there's another episode out there for you. And, if you have a little extra money and want to support some charities, which not everybody can right now, but if you do, it's a great opportunity to do so as well.
Absolutely. All right, so real quick, Ty, put you on the spot here.
Oh shit.
Are there any games that you recommend people play right now during the quarantine?
During the quarantine, if you're looking for a little bit of a mellow, kind of chilled out throughout these crazy times, I can't stress Animal Crossing enough. It's a fantastic game. You should definitely play it. Another good one is Plague Inc. I don't know. It's pretty much is a game known for destroying the world with bacteria and diseases. They now offer a game mode where you can destroy the bacteria now. So, and the proceeds of that do go to charity. So,
nice.
I know they do give a portion of that. I don't know which one either, but they do that. For the King is now out on Xbox Game Pass. That's a pretty good tactical game. It kind of has, I don't know if anybody's played Civilization, but it kind of has a Civilization setup. It's a tactical turn-based game. Pretty fun. And then there's like a whole bunch of stuff that has come to Game Pass, which is pretty cool, which I've been kind of delving into lately. If you kind of want to get into some maybe disease-based games, there's an awesome game. It has a good storyline. That's the only reason I'm recommending it, not because of disease, but that just happens to be part of the plot.
Last of Us 2 is kind of disease.
Right, Last of Us 2
is
like
all
but there are some awesome that have some amazing stories coming out, stories to them that'll kind of get you wrapped up. Sony, I think it was last month, did give out Uncharted. They did kind of give out some BS PS Plus this game. We got, if you're a PS Plus member on PlayStation, Farming Simulator is free. So
can't go outside, might as well pretend to.
Yeah, I'm gonna farm some stuff, but I guess. But really, I don't know, man. I tried that game out and I was like in it, but like, cause all my friends, it was weird. So like, a friend of mine was like, "Oh man, Farming Simulator's so cool, man." So like, what do you do just running around? But it is really, out of all the simulators, it is really popular, and I can see the appeal for it. But if I'm not like shooting something, or you don't give me a good story within the first like 5 minutes of the game, I'm out. I'm sorry. Like Animal Crossing is the only exception, like for me right now, which I've been delving into. Which, if you are an Animal Crossing player, turnipexchange.com, fantastic website. It's a free website you can go to. If you have bought your turnips, that is a place to go to find other islands to sell your turnips to get a pretty decent profit. So definitely check that out when you can. But yeah, that's Animal Crossing, man. I'm gonna recommend that like to the end of time. That's the most lighthearted game right now that you could play to kind of get your mind off.
We got to turn that into a running joke, like every episode. Be like, "What game do you recommend?" Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
then after like the 20th
Animal
time,
Crossing.
After like the 20th or 30th time, when people are expecting you to say Animal Crossing, you'll be like, "I don't know, The Sims."
Yeah, right. How do you like to do one? Just give them like The Sims 2. Like,
I don't know, tic-tac-toe. This
a game of Scrabble, damn it.
All right. Well, this has been the Bing Zang Zoom Podcast, Quarantine Edition 3. We'll see you next